know Brother Jeff? There you go.
You know what Jeff done?
I do.
Yeah, what do I
Jeff and Starlet Gunn.
Locally?
In all,
But I
yeah.
mean, it's only, because they're only voting on that one thing.
Yeah. I thought maybe there was a connection.
I'm
but,
assuming.
Are we live?
Yep.
Well, hello everyone, online and in the house. You online can't see it, but we're a little bit smaller crowd tonight. But I'm sure that's partly because it is the new year and just the beginning of the new year. So happy New Year, everyone! For if we missed that earlier, but yeah, I'm glad everybody's here. Glad you're here online. A little bit of an explanation. If you're here in the house, you can tell things look a little different tonight. Setup wise, you're going to find out why. And online, this will probably be a little bit shorter live stream tonight. But we will thoroughly go through all the details so that you can do some stuff on your own, even though we stopped the live stream a little earlier. So we're going to endeavor not to leave you out, and certainly y'all won't be left out. So, because you're here. All right. I was telling some people earlier this week, people have been asking how Open Fields Church is going. I'm like, it's kind of crazy that here we are, 4 months old already, which is kind of amazing. And it's been a lot of fun. We've got a growing number of people that cycle through. Not everybody's here every week, but that are cycling through here locally. But the online crowd, you're growing as well. And there's more and more people watching. And by the way, I wanted to mention to you guys, I said last week, even though you're here, if you would, please go to YouTube, Facebook as well, and like and subscribe, because it just helps. It helps more and more people see it. And one of the things we're doing that Sandra and I are having a lot of fun with, and it's getting a lot of views, is we're doing, on a monthly basis, we have a series called Awkward Conversations. And it's been a lot of fun, because sometimes it's fun because it's awkward between she and I. It's something that maybe we disagree on, or something that we just have different views on, because we are male, and female, and we do have different personalities, so that makes it fun. But we're also picking things that are just awkward in our culture. Like we did a video on boundaries recently, because now she and I agreed a lot on that one, but culturally I don't agree with a lot of what's happening. And so we're having fun picking on culture, picking on each other, picking on other people. And so if you haven't seen our Awkward Conversations videos, just go to YouTube, find the Open Fields Church channel, and check it out, because it's a lot of fun. We'll have a couple more up here real soon. So I just wanted to mention that, because it's a lot of fun what we're doing here physically with all of us in the house, but it's really cool what's happening online as well. We're getting more and more subscribers and more people watching. And, in the end, this is really about loving God, loving each other, growing, learning, and being disciples. So even like tonight's activity, for a few of us, including myself, the activity tonight might feel a little uncomfortable, because it's not something you would normally do. But I was thinking about that today, and I thought, sometimes uncomfortable things are really good for us, because it pushes us to that next level of learning, right? So I would encourage you that even if tonight, or any night for that matter, if there's something that you're kind of like, wow, this is different, or this is challenging me, embrace that, because, that's often a point of growth. And so anyway, I'm saying that to myself as well, because we all bump into things that, we would normally maybe kick against, and sometimes, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I'm reading the Bible and going, oh man, I don't like that, because it's going to require something of me that's going to take a little effort and work. I mean, it's just easy, or it challenges how I've seen things, right? I mean, you're reading along in the Bible and all of a sudden you go, oh, that's how God sees it? That's not how I see it. You got to own that if you're going to grow. And that's big part of why we're doing Open Fields Church, is we want to grow, we want to learn, we want to increase, and we want to be in each other's lives, but also ultimately have God in our lives, in our businesses, in our families, in our day-to-day, right? And that's what this is largely about. So go check out the videos. We have some fun events coming up. I don't know, Kinsey, we don't have a March events like yet, do we? We just planned that. I'm only going to mention it tonight because in March we're going to do an Irish celebration on Sunday, March 12th. So you could put that on your calendar. I think we said 2 o'clock on 1 o'clock on Sunday, March 12th here. We're going to do a full-on Irish celebration. We'll talk more about the details of that, but we'll probably challenge you all to bring something Irish, some sort of Irish food or something. We'll have some fun with it. We're also in March going to do something on a Friday night because some of us around here have a lot of Irish blood. So if you don't, bear with us, have fun with us, enjoy some good food, and we'll have a great time. But we'll be doing that in March. And there's possibly a February event coming up as well, but we don't have details on that yet. So, we're trying to have some fun. We're trying to learn. We're trying to grow. We're trying to, again, have God in our lives and be in each other's lives and just have a great time. So whether it's events or videos or mission trips, right? I got to mention mission trip. I think we have a slide for that one. I'll be sharing a lot more, but I've talked a little bit about Montana, a little bit about Dean and Kelly Smith and the pastor missionaries up there and the amazing work that they're doing at Morning Star Baptist Church there on the Northern Cheyenne Indian Reservation, just across the border from Wyoming into Montana. So for all of us, it's less than a 7-hour drive up there. So it's not a bad day at all. For some of you watching online, if you want to join us, you could fly into Billings or come to Colorado and drive up with us. There's any number of ways that people could join in. So that is coming up in, are the dates on there? June 10 through 17. So a lot more detail on that coming, but if you want to get it on your calendar and begin asking me questions, whatever, send those questions to me, and we will unpack it more, what kind of things we'll be doing, how you can participate, how you can jump in, and how we'll be a blessing. So I know we've got some kids thinking about going, and there's several people saying they're thinking about going. So should be a lot of fun. We will be meeting up with Lake Haven Church out of Eustis, Florida. So it'll be us and them, so you'll have a lot of fun getting to know some of them as well. So that'll be good. One last thing, and then I'm going to have Sandra come. Giving. You know our heart around here if you've been around at all. We're just so thankful that we have an amazing God who cares for us. And ultimately, when it comes down to giving, we trust Him. Right? Individually, in our own lives. I don't know about you all, but there's this thing called inflation. Have you noticed it? Have you noticed your grocery bill? Have you noticed a few things going up? It's so cool to know that God's not afraid of inflation. Right? And He is more than able to care for each one of us. And all we ask here at Open Fields Church is, give as you desire in your heart to give. And follow that leading, and that's all we want from you. We're not, we don't put rules and regulations. I heard about the other day, and I gotta be honest, I thought this might be kind of cool. But in Ireland, back in the 1700s, there was a time period where there was actually a tithe tax. Everyone, required by law, paid 10% of their income to the church. And I kind of thought, oh no, that'd be bad. Stop. That'd be really bad. We don't do it that way, right? And I'm glad we don't do it that way because, and we've done some scriptural teaching on this and we'll do more, but when it comes down to it, God wants us to give as we purpose in our heart, as we desire in our heart to give. So if this place is a blessing to you, if what's happening here is a blessing, whether you're online or in person, that's all we ask. And I tell you what, for 4 months of Open Fields Church being open in 2022, it was pretty impressive, what people gave. And some of you are some of the people that gave, and we're very grateful because, there's things like all this amazing equipment and just, we're able to move forward because people give. And that's all we ask. If you're in the house, there's black box back here as you go down that hallway, and there's one at the front door if you're wanting to drop something in there. But there's also giving by text or follow that QR code to our website. You can set up automatic gifts. We try to make it as easy as possible for people to give. So we will leave that there. And Sandra, you are up if you're within earshot. Look there she comes. Sandra's going to start tonight and do some foundational teaching towards where we're headed tonight, and then I'll come back and do some very practical intro, and then we'll get after it. So I will.
I can't.
I'll leave you
I
to
can't
it.
sit.
I can't sit.
I know the things that I'm going to share are going to be pretty quick, but I wanted to share a little bit. So our project tonight is going to be, wait for it, a vision board. Nobody wants to do vision boards. What a dumb name, what a dumb thing to do, I know. But what we're going to do tonight is going to be way more fun than the average vision board, because we're going to talk a little bit here about how is a vision board, or even not, I don't even like that phrase, but how is this scriptural? Why does it matter? So I want you to think with me for a minute about the Israelites wandering around. You know, they all went different places, were constantly up and moving, right? I want you to think with me just for a minute. What was something consistent that they did through all of their wandering? Complained. Yes, that is true. Complained. I know a few people like that. Sometimes this one right here. What else? What else did they do? While they wandered around, there was a few things that happened repetitively, which means it's something for us to pay attention to. It's not hard.
Give them a hint.
They ate
Manna.
manna. Yes, they ate. They ate manna a lot. They did something with rocks.
They put rocks, I just listened to this, they put rocks so they could remember, so they teach their kids, when they thought about the rocks, it triggered memories.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yes, exactly. They built altars. It's also another word for an altar is an Ebenezer. So, you know that song, the Christmas song that says something about, do you remember that? We did it at Living Hope, but there's something in the song that's Ebenezer. I don't know, it doesn't matter. But it's the idea of building altars. And the reason that they built altars was exactly what Josh said, so that when they would pass by that place later, they could tell their kids, this altar is here because this is how God came through for us. In this place, God met us in this way. So it was a moment for them to both tell their kids the story, and then a moment for them to also for themselves remember, oh, I remember what God did here in this place, right? Now, I did a message early on about identity. Some of you have done some coaching with me, so you know this anyway. But what is one thing that we talked about when we talked about identity, that if you've done any coaching with me, I've asked you to do? What is the one thing that was very important? Do you remember? Hi. I know you both know. I know you know because we talked about it. When we talked about identity, we talked about what can we do to remember the picture God gave us, which is to create a picture, right? So the same way we talk about building an altar and saying, at this moment in our lives, God did this thing for us. And then we talk about in our own lives, when we have a picture or an image of something, it helps us connect to, oh, remember, this is what God says about me. This is what God thinks about me. This is how God sees me, how God comes through for me. Now, so when we talk about an altar that the Jewish people built all through the Old Testament, and then we talk about a picture that we've been given to remind us of who we are, what does that sound like? What are we doing tonight? Creating a vision board. Right. It's this idea of having this picture in front of us where we go, okay, number one, this is what God has done for me. Number two, this is how God sees me if we're doing a picture of ourselves. Number three, this is what I expect and desire and want God to do for me this coming year. Right? So this idea of vision board is very similar. Everybody thinks they're coming up with this new thing, a vision board. No, the Jewish people were doing it all throughout the Old Testament, creating these altars to remind themselves. So, I have several scriptures if you want to write them down. I'm not going to read all of them, but if you go Google, how many people in the Old Testament built an altar to the Lord? You'll find lots of scripture and lots of stuff to look at. So, the one that, there's actually two here that I want to read. Sorry I did not get this to you guys. It is Genesis 35, 1 through 7. I put in Genesis 1. Close, not quite. Genesis 35, verse 1. He says, God said to Jacob, arise, go up to Bethel and dwell there. Make an altar there to the God who appeared to you when you fled from your brother Esau. So Jacob said to his household and to all who were with him, put away the foreign gods that are among you and purify yourselves and change your garments. Then let us arise and go up to Bethel so that I may make there an altar to the God who answers me in the day of my distress and has been with me wherever I have gone. So they gave to Jacob all the foreign gods that they had and the rings that were in their ears. Jacob hid them under the terebinth tree that was near Shechem. And as they journeyed, a terror from God fell upon the cities that were around them, so that they did not pursue the sons of Jacob. And Jacob came to Luz, that is Bethel, which is in the land of Canaan, he and all the people who were with him. And there he built an altar and called the place El Bethel, because there God had revealed himself to him when he fled from his brother. And it goes on, this is a very long story, but what I want you to note is he built an altar, and then he named the place, and then he said, this is why I'm naming it this place, because it is here that God delivered me from my brother, right? This is where I fled from my brother, this is where God delivered me. And then I want to read, so that's Jacob. Abraham built several altars, Isaac did, Jacob did, and then I want to go to Exodus 17, and we're going to go to verse 15, and it says this, and Moses built an altar and called the name of it, the Lord is my banner, saying, a hand upon the throne of the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. So the key there is, the Lord is my banner. So we see they built an altar and they named the place. They named the altar. They had a reason for that altar. And the reason was so that when they passed by, they could tell their kids about it and they could also remember it themselves. So that is a lot of what tonight is about, is creating an altar. And I think it can be past and present focused. I think it can be purely present focused today. It could be focused on this next year. And I know when we talk about a vision board, it's about what do I want to accomplish this year, right? It's a bigger picture, and we can do that. But what I really want to emphasize is, what has God been talking to you about? What has happened in the last year that has brought you to here? And what is it that you're looking at and looking forward to going forward? Okay? And we're going to create around that. Now, let me just say this. If you are not artistic, creative, you feel like you don't have a good drawing hand, you don't have any creative bones in your body, never fear, because we've planned for that, because we have magazines for you to cut pictures out of. It's already done for you, right? We have all kinds of fun stuff that you can use to create something that you don't look at and go, God, I suck. But rather you can look at and go, yes, this is what God is calling me to, or what I want to have or give to God this year, or whatever your personal thing is, okay? So I don't want you to feel like if you're not artistic, you're out. You're not out. We have made arrangements. Plus, I think Seth is going to talk about this, but vision boards are often not something that you display, right? It's not like living room wall art, like, look at this beautiful thing. No, like, it's a personal thing. So I just want to throw that out there right now, that caveat that says don't be bothered if you can't do art, okay? All right, that is all I have.
Okay.
Short and sweet.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, I had to chuckle because for some reason, I was the one that was, given the task, or I accepted the task of explaining practically what a vision board is. So the first thing I had to do is Google, what's a vision board? I mean, I knew the basic concept, but I was like, I'm gonna tell the practicals and, okay. So, so it's been a fun couple of days of, digging and looking at what is a vision board. And I really appreciate Sandra bringing that foundation of why do we do this from a scriptural viewpoint, because that's all that really matters, right? I had a pretty extensive conversation with a friend of mine this week, and we were talking about how when you have no foundation of truth in your life, and in my opinion, your foundation of truth has to come from the Word of God, from the Bible, okay? That's my opinion. Some people claim they can get a foundation of truth from other places. I think it's the Bible. And once you decide, I'm going to have my truth, my own truth, separate from the foundation of truth, it's just a slippery slope of into whatever at that point. I mean, at that point, anything goes. So I think that foundation and thinking about a vision board, thinking about this next year, thinking about your own life and what you want is a great way to put truth in front of you, right? So I want to challenge you that as you think through these practical things and actually have a chance to work on it tonight, make it very personal. Now, for some, it could be that you need some things on there that are so personal and so private, you don't want it seen tonight on your vision board by someone else that looks at it, right? You may have some things that are sensitive and that you want on there, you want between you and God. So don't let this be something that you finish tonight necessarily. It could be that you start this tonight and then you take it and over the next week or so develop out what you want it to look like, right? So one of the things that I really want you to do is make it very personal. Make it very much you. Don't put things on there because other people want them on there. What do you want out of this year? What are your business goals? How much money do you want to make? What do you want in relationships? What do you want with your kids? Maybe you want to be a better father. Maybe you want to be a better mother. Maybe you want to be a father, to be a mother. You could put those things on there. Maybe, for me, Marcy is cringing back there. Maybe, for me, one of the things I want on my vision board, on my, in my vision for this next year, is I want to do more things that make Sandra, as my wife, feel loved. So I'm going to put that out there to where it's on the board and I see it. I think that's part of the power of this. Forget about the fact that we're, seriously, I struggled coming in tonight because I'm like, really, we're going to do arts and crafts? Really? Open Fields Church is going to be arts and crafts? I mean, I'm rolling my eyes, but even though I agreed to this, right? But the more I think about it, I'm like, whatever I need to have in front of me in order to meet, because there are some things I want to see happen in my life this year. So whatever I can do to put those in front of me and do something maybe unusual for me, uncomfortable, whatever, do it. Now, I will say this, tonight, we're going to provide stuff to where you can physically begin to create a board. But there are some amazing tools out there to do this electronically. And that piqued my interest. So I very well may take much of what I develop physically and actually turn it into something electronic. That way, I can have it on my computer screen, maybe as my background or whatever. I can have it on my phone and have it in places where it really is in front of me. What it really comes down to is, what do you want out of this year? And challenge yourself in those ways. All right? So I'm going to hand these out, so don't feel like you have to memorize this. But one of the first things to do is do a status check. Do a review, just think through a little bit of, what was last year like, or what's your life been like up to this point, and what are the things maybe you want going forward. So that little bit of a review can sometimes prompt, oh, I don't want more of that. So if I don't want more of that, what do I want, right? If you're having a hard time thinking of what you want going forward. And once you've done that, then you set goals and you prioritize. Now, for some of you, there might be some very simple things that you could make happen pretty quickly. That'd be great. Probably we all have things that we're going to put out there as a target for this year, and really we'll make progress toward them this year because they're big, right? And that's good too. So whether it's an instant thing that I'm going to get this done this year or in the next month, or it's something that I'm going to make progress towards this goal, but it's probably a multi-year thing getting there. That's all good. When I give out these sheets under step number 2, there's more dialogue here, so if you need more, go ahead and read through it. And then there's a little bit of a picture to give you a concept and an idea of what this is going to look like. I mean, I can show it too, but you can't see it from there. So, but you can look at that a little bit closer if you're like, well, what's this supposed to even look like? And I assume, we didn't talk about this, but probably, Sandra, you're going to be offering assistance if people are like, how do I even, yeah, okay. Number 3, find images and words, things that speak to those things that you want accomplished. That's why there's the magazines, that's why there's arts and crafts back there. And I was just thinking, if anybody wants this tonight, if there's a particular scripture that you would like on it, I could print that up real quick for you, so that you could have it printed and have it on your vision board. So just say something if you want something like that tonight. Once you've picked some of these images, then you can start assembling it, lay it out, start getting these things in a way that you're like, that is going to be something I can visually appreciate, and that is going to help me remember these goals and these dreams. This is all, it's an altar. I love that Sandra brought that out. I didn't know that she was going to. But it is simply an altar. It's simply a reminder. It doesn't need to be pretty. It doesn't need to be a great work of art. I mean, if after you die it sells for $1 million, that's wonderful. But if it goes in the trash at the end of the year or whatever, that's okay too, right? As long as it does the job that you need. So start assembling it, and then we've got stuff to where you can start gluing it together. And then you can decide where it is you want this in order to have use of it down the road. And you know what? I just had a thought. The other thing you could do is physically create what you want to create and then scan it in. Then you can have it on your phone and stuff that way too. So I hadn't thought about that until just right now. So it's just a matter of thinking about your life, thinking about where you've been, and then thinking about where you want to go and what are some things you can accomplish towards that this year, short and long term. It's all good. Make it as personal as possible. Start finding images and creating things that go to that end. Start putting words down, pictures down, fun things down that speak to you of those goals. And then we put it all together and you have something to take with you to move closer, ultimately, in my opinion, move closer to Christ. Right? So this really, for us, we're looking at this as an opportunity and as a discipleship tool. Something for you, as a disciple of Christ, to put together and then walk forward with, right? So I hope some of you, this makes you a little uncomfortable. That's good. It probably means those of us the most uncomfortable are probably going to get the most growth out of it. So, jump in, embrace it, have some fun with it, and, then run forward with it. Is anything else practically, Sandra, that you want to?
I think, I was just gonna suggest that when we, do you wanna say goodbye to the?
Not yet,
Okay,
because I have something to say to them yet.
okay, I was just gonna suggest when we say goodbye to them,
Yeah.
we could have on a little bit of music, everybody can spend a little time just on their own with God, like praying, whatever. I mean, you're welcome, if you already know, go ahead and get your stuff. By the way, there's paint in that room and blow dryer and brushes and stuff, so if you wanna actually paint, you can do that. I need to get some water set up in there, but anyway, if you want to go ahead and grab stuff because you know what you want, great. But if you're not sure and you need or want to just spend some time journaling, writing, talking to God, like this is part of us being disciples, so it's a matter of us. This is incredibly distracting over here.
Can I have one of the sheets real quick, please?
Yeah, so I just wanted to say that you feel free to take the time. And if you're not somebody who's like, I don't just hear from God, like, it's not like it just happens for me, then, uh, then, that's okay. Go with something that just is a desire of yours. Like, maybe you're like, I'm not hearing from God. Okay, well, what do you just would like to see this year? Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be like, you got a word from God. That's great
Right.
if you do, but
Right.
that's not required.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say, everybody can have a little bit of time to think and kind of get their, where they want to be, and then go grab their stuff. But if you're ready, go grab your stuff right away.
Yeah, okay,
Right.
cool. So for the online crowd, you can do this at home too. You can just, we have magazines and, you know, to get pictures and words out of, we have all kinds of stuff here and ready. You may not have that, so you could gather that and even do this tomorrow or something like that. But you can go ahead and do the project, and if you just Google, for any of us, you know, I mean, you guys are here tonight, but if you wanna add to it, I was amazed. There's a wealth of stuff out there if you just Google it, you know, regarding this kind of concept. And if it's something you're like, I really want to develop this a little further, it's going to be real easy for you to do that. All right. So for the online crowd, we're going to let these guys go ahead and set up and start the process and so forth. So I know this was short for you tonight. But I hope that you'll take that time then to go ahead and start the process. Even if you don't have the materials to put it together, start writing things down as to what you want to see out of this next year. So I guess with that, they may let the stream continue. I don't know. I'll let them decide. It sounds like they probably are. But we won't be specifically addressing you, but you'll be able to kind of see some of what's going on. So they'll let that run maybe all night. Who knows? You know. So glad you're here. So for you guys, oh, and by the way, online crowd, we could send you a copy, I guess, of this list. I didn't even think about that.
We're on it.
So Kenzie says they're already on it, so some of that's available to you. I'm sure she's telling you how. So, for the rest of you, and I can print more copies of this, I'll just start giving a few out, but I can print more. These are the details that I was just talking about, kind of went through kind of lightly. But you can peruse that a bit more, and then I think what we've done here is we've got the tables. Obviously, we're a smaller crowd tonight, so we have way too many chairs. So we'll stack a few of those up, but the idea was we could get around the tables. You can gather stuff. Sandra, were we gonna do something with the big boards? Do you wanna start,
yeah,
do you wanna start getting some of that out? Is some of it gonna come out here, or how do you wanna do that?
I didn't know. I kind of wanted to know what people wanted, so I guess when you're ready, kind of let me know, because we have these giant boards. So you can do like, you can do like a full-on,
They are giant.
I'm going to do everything on the board, past, present, future.
Right.
Or we can figure out a way. I don't think the paper cutter will cut this. I don't know. So we can figure out how to cut them to whatever size you want. My idea, but this is probably because there are some smaller pieces here. They aren't as thick, obviously, but they're cardstock. But my thought was, for me, what I want to do is make it big enough that it is a little bit more in my face. But I also wanted to make it a size that I could put, you guys are gonna laugh at this. I also wanted to make it a size that I could put in a frame, because while I'm not trying to create living room art, I do want it to look cool, so I am gonna try to make it look cool and then put it in a frame. So, nobody has to do that. But if you'll let me know what size you want, then we can cut this to that size. Does that answer your question? So
I
come see
think
me
so.
when
So
know
you
how
can
big of a
start-
piece you want, or
Yeah, or taking the time, and I don't know, maybe we'll have a little music going.
We will have music.
Yeah, and then you can just start in. If you have questions, you want scriptures printed. I mean, this is for you, so do with it what you want. So, all the materials are back here except for the paint, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And feel free to spread out, come use the tables. Sorry.
We can pretend like we're in a classroom. If you need anything, you raise your hands and I'll come right over.
first. I don't know. I have no idea what I'm gonna do. I'm not creative.
Here. Does that inspire?
Yes.
You know?
So much better.
I don't know why it's single-sided. There you go. And that's that'll be inspiring.
Like where you put your tabs, where you at right now, where you go. Do you want a journal?
Oh, I
I've
meant,
got a sheet for you
yeah,
too.
that's a good thought. I meant to mention that. I heard somebody else saying they were gonna just have their journal and just start writing things and let that give you a place to run with. I mean, that makes sense. It's very, yeah, you've got instructions in front of you, but make it personal. Kind of go with it where you want to go with it. I mean, maybe you want to get rid of your girlfriend, or maybe you like your girlfriend, you want to keep her. I mean, these are the kinds of things do better at talking. You want to be nicer to your dad.
Exactly.
You want to treat your dad more like,
I think he's wanting to keep that girlfriend right now.
Yeah.
Growth in that.
I mean, she
No
might,
wedding bells,
she might be
though.
watching, so be careful.
No wedding bells.
But no wedding bells.
That's right.
For inspiration, if it's, I need inspiration. Those magazines and stuff, even just start perusing them.
I have these for the guys.
Oh.
Oh.
I should have brought some cards.
Do you have a knife on you?
Life would have made more sense. Yeah, we need to build a
You
measuring
can
tape.
also check out Pinterest if you need more ideas.
That's. Sorry, I'm not yelling.
I told her not to go down County Road 33. She did.
You don't bring it out now.
Yes, for various reasons.
I woke up, I mean, I was
See ya.
in
See ya.
I was totally out. And I woke up and it was like 6:31. I jumped up out of the bed, ran into the bathroom, straightened my hair. And I said, "Are you going with me? So where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to church." Oh, yeah. So, I made it.
Do you guys want a table? I mean, there's lots of
No,
table
I
room
felt
there
bad
if you
now.
want.
Right when I woke up, you know that.
Yeah.
Like I was.
I can bring things to you too if you,
I must have been out.
if that would be helpful or.
No, I was just tired.
I thought with a board that big, I could go get my doctorate after all.
It's been very, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So, anyway, we'll talk later. We'll start on this. This is neat. I like this.
Seth liked it too the other day.
Just putting pictures of what we want, like as a goal.
Yeah. So your past, where you've been.
This last year, and you could do like some
So we do last year pictures, this year
So like
pictures.
last year, you could put your ditch right there. And
Were you in a ditch? What were you doing?
it was down in the ditch and all that.
And then,
Like in the
so
gutter.
you don't have to do last year, but you can. But the idea is to put down goals of what you want in the future this year. But also, like, if there's anything you do feel like, I know you were here when we talked about God giving you pictures about yourself, because you would want to make a smart remark about your mom being a sort of blender or something.
Or his dad stepping in poop. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Something.
Oh, right.
Yeah, call me.
Or was it
Was
Landon?
that not you?
It was Landon.
It might have
Oh,
been
I thought
Landon.
for sure it was you.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything that you're feeling like, okay, this is what I want to accomplish.
See, there's lots of examples. Like on. Yeah.
What are some paper?
How are you doing? Did you get back Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Good. You're awesome. Good. I love them. Do you like them? Are they bothering you at all? Oh, good.
This is what I look at
Yeah.
every morning.
Oh, they're very pretty.
Brad, would you like it? It's like, really?
Yeah.
When I looked, because I was trying so hard to explain, I want it to be more than natural, but not like.
I was for lunch yesterday.
Like some of them you see, like, yeah.
So she did a great job.
She did a good job.
I looked in the mirror, I was like,
And then you don't have to put any mascara on or anything. It's so nice. Yeah, they look good. And your hair looks good too. You changed the color.
I did. I wanted it to be like yours.
I did. I bought overtone this week.
Okay.
So, for brown hair. So it's the purple for brown. And I didn't like yesterday. I can see it a little, but the more you do it,
Came out last
have that deep
It's called
purple, not a vibrant, but just a deep hue of purple to it, yeah.
No, I went in, I was like, well, my hairdresser had her hair blonde, some red in it, and I've always liked your red. Especially when it's so I said,
like
you
it.
have big goals or?
It looks good. Looks good, yeah. Okay. Awesome. And I need my journal. 'cause
There we go.
Just making shapes.
Warfare? The enemy. He works for Costco.
Oh, I'm like, some random dude's daughter.
There we go. That one. Look at how you want to slide it. Slide in there, man. There might be a fence in there. I saw that on your
That's
list.
the first thing on my list.
Yeah. I don't know, but I thought there might be. Wow, I never carried,
Picture of a fence? Yeah.
I never carried that many hay bales.
On your back?
That first picture.
I know, my gosh.
Oh, that's what I need. I need to finish my grain bin. Because Misty's gonna be out there. She's fine. You need a hot tub on yours?
I do.
Because you're putting a hot tub out by the.
First I need electricity in the
I'll put the
backyard.
electricity on.
I've already got electricity.
That's exactly.
I already have electricity, so.
We just need a hot
He
tub.
doesn't have electricity. I already have it.
So you're ahead there.
I'm just saying.
Be more like Seth.
I'm gonna take your picture, let me snip it out.
We'll do bracelets.
Holding a light bulb.
Holding the light bulb. Oh my goodness.
No. Yes, please.
I know.
Oh. Is that, what is that? What kind of board is that?
It's pretty heavy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are you wanting to cut it?
Yeah.
I've got a, here.
To put it on the whole
You
table.
might put it right here, on that seam right here.
Cut it down the seam.
Yeah, I mean,
So
it'll.
Jim,
But I
have
don't
you
know
ever
where she
been
wants
to
to
a
cut
church
it
like
at.
this before?
Been to plenty, but no, not like this. Pretty awesome. Yes, I am too. I was riding on last
Probably
week,
cut right down.
Sandra's message
Oh, good idea.
all week long.
Well, that's a great idea. That's what I was just thinking. Is
No,
there,
it
we
was,
gonna,
yeah.
what were you needing?
Told us it was kind of life changing.
Pencil.
Here, I've got
Yes.
this.
Nobody's really put me into the Bible like she did. It was awesome.
Okay, got it? Sweet.
Jeremy said he thought you might
So
cut
we
it.
can cut. And there's a straight edge.
That's like we cut material at Walmart.
Oh. How sharp is that?
And it should be.
This one, I know this one's very sharp. I cut my hand with it the first day I got it.
I think this one.
Yeah, you just follow the straight edge.
That's what I found.
See? I thought there might be a fence in that one.
Are there any scissors there?
There are. You want me to bring it there?
Yeah. I could get one
Is
out
that,
of here.
what's up with that tractor? Why is it a half an hour?
What?
They get the biggest guy flex right here, ready?
The biggest what?
The biggest guy flex.
Oh,
Careful.
It's very short.
it says don't do anything halfway.
What's that?
So will this have things from the past on it, or just what you're looking for the future?
Whatever you want.
Okay.
TJ, I moved your jacket. Okay. It's just right there. Sounds good. So why don't you think somebody stole it out of that? This is my just collection of stuff. Yeah, that's fine.
So you're gonna make a frame?
And I'm not trying to, I'm just trying to create some room for yourself, you know? Don't feel like I moved all your stuff and your jacket. I'm just trying to collect it here and work.
Hang it in the living room?
Got what you need, Jim?
Think so.
Yeah? Need more pizza? To inspire you? Get things going?
Where were you putting that?
This is
Yeah,
mine.
are you, what do you think?
What, how long is it?
That one.
16 by 20 is where I'm going.
That furnace. Closet. I'm gonna be able to do that sometime.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I was just so tired.
When you can do it without using a hair tie, that's when you know your hair is long. Or it just has really good texture.
Deep sleep.
There's one we ought
Does
to
yours not
be
stay?
working
Can you get it to
on.
stay up by itself?
That's being nice.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd be really surprised if you're putting it. I can do it when my hair is like not that long, but my hair is probably not as smooth as yours. You have nice smooth hair. No.
There you go. I like that.
No, it's like,
Was that back there?
you know, fine texture. Not fine.
Cool.
There's a whole like, yeah, I don't know. There's like a couple.
It's like classic blonde hair. That's not.
I mean, that side sharp yours.
It's okay. I'm okay with it not being smooth. It's okay.
Look what I did the first day.
Some people have nice.
Stabbed it in my.
Kind of
I was like, you sling it out, right?
family
And I had it stuck like this, and I was in the dark, couldn't see it, and I went to go do like sling it out, and basically just like slapped it right into my.
And is this drink or just like,
Literally like 10 minutes after.
but it's only together.
That's rough.
Slapped on.
Yeah. What now?
So like,
Oh,
I
you're
was
not.
going to sling it out like that. And I was in the dark, and I did this, and like just shoved it right into my hand.
What does it look like if you don't do anything to it? I like the color. I know. It's kind of just neat.
It might be dry.
Some of those prep, that's a good idea.
That's not
That's
bad.
a good size.
I like it. I often like will fall asleep on it. Sweat.
Yeah.
I mean, there's other paper back there that's easy enough. There's some fun. See what Trisha's using?
Yeah.
There's some fun. I saw
I
that.
did see that. It's a good size too.
The glue sticks are dry, they don't work.
But it's just
Oh, no,
over
really?
there, right?
I was
So you're
like,
gonna need
I was
this.
supposed to
and
have
we're
anything
gonna
else.
get
I figured they might be.
some pretty stuff.
That's too
Uh-huh.
bad.
Did you open the, did you try several?
well, I didn't try another one, I just opened the package and the one I
That's a
grabbed
good
is
size too. I
Okay.
don't know if you could use it as a template or if you're gonna have to.
Oh, good, yeah. You want one this size? You want one
This size?
You want this size?
So you're,
Like this.
yeah, it's just taking it.
it's on.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh,
But if
that's
someone
too
wants that,
Well, we're gonna use
Yeah, I
it
don't
as a
think we have
template
any.
and make several. If you wanted one, yeah. That'll.
flip it the other way, Sandra, then you can get two of them.
Yep.
Sorry, you don't have to listen.
Oh, it's great. It's a good idea and I don't have any there.
kind of bossy.
I think we really like them. And then.
Like I felt.
At least you know it.
That's the straight.
I
This
did.
is the cut. I mean, that's straight.
That's the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah.
He found money coming
Oh.
growing.
I said, is that the Wall Street Journal? You look like you're-
I'm gonna go for-
And then you got the printed ones, you're gonna be putting money in.
Is this yours, or are you using this?
I cut off a page of it somewhere.
We didn't talk about that. Are you allowed to laugh at other people's?
No, I was laughing because it's like creative, and I'm like, mine's gonna be like blop.
Mine would be that way
Is it okay
too.
to designate things to people?
Oh.
This is yours.
Oh.
What are you giving?
What?
I know.
Already got it, girl.
That's not gonna be lame. That's gonna be awesome.
Already got it, girl.
You need a board or something?
thing?
Yeah, I picked it for him.
Did he already have it?
Do you want a board?
You're riding yours
So,
out, huh?
they're cutting some here.
Yeah.
You're riding yours out. I like that.
What's happening with, are these all spoken for?
Y'all want me to be creative?
You must be good with good with words.
Maybe I should get after cutting.
You can
Good
do
for
it.
you.
I'll give you.
See you guys again.
I can
You
do
too.
it.
Stop crittering.
For that. It's good pizza.
That one's fun.
You want one of those?
We're getting really ranchy. Ranchy, like rednecky, like just cutting with a knife instead of the X-Acto knife.
Yeah,
Well, that's sharper than the,
that's better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You're not
It's ranchy,
using
I
that?
love it.
Okay. Let me see what I can do.
Honestly, 2023 is just not about me. Just what everyone wants to do. 'Cause I don't have any plans.
Could be a small one.
But I don't plan ours.
I don't like how this one's right in the reading.
I laugh at these because it's so creepy. It's like, oh.
It's the paper.
Well, yes, but these look like do to others as you would have them do to you. Just the same.
My cousin,
want that.
my cousin said that the other day. No, what did he say?
He said, you gotta do the right thing.
This
when
one's-
no one's watching. That's the golden
That's
rule.
okay.
I was like, that's not the golden rule. The golden rule is doing to others as you would have them do to you. Yeah. So, I was glad to be there.
Okay, we have 3 at this point.
That one would be like.
We could do an 11 by
He
13
was like, oh,
because that's, oh, where's the tape measure? You know where the tape measure went?
That's it.
no.
Oh.
right here.
He was on supper.
One more.
I was gonna find it. I want lots of suppers. No. I did.
Thank you guys for the pizza.
Isn't it 11 by 13? That's a typical frame size.
Don't give me a lot, I don't know. I don't know nothing about picture sizes.
So let's see,
So what is it?
11 by 13, so let's see 13.
Catch. How long do you think I should leave with it?
Yeah.
Yeah. He turned it off. I said we should, if we're gonna leave this on, we should have it on. Otherwise, what's the point of having it on? We'll turn it off. I'll see who's watching. So we'll take it. Ready. Did you get your card? Boom.
One of two.
Take it. I just need to get in there first. Yeah.
Did you want a stiff board?
What?
Ask me the same question.
You know where you're at?
I'll drop it.
I don't know if she wants a word done. No, that's great. I think
Doesn't have that
because
deal.
Seth's doing some too. Oh, okay, so